Hi everybody, welcome to another one of my videos. If you have not at this point subscribed to Thai TV, go ahead and do so. Please know that whatever videos I post, whether it's Pastel Pillow Talk, whether it's Totally Thai, Adam's Avatars, whatever, you can leave comments down in the comment section and I will respond to those comments with basically anything you would want to know. So today I am weighing in on a conversation or an issue that has been trending on Twitter. So this is my disclaimer. Let me tell you up front, I have not personally seen in detail the videos or comments from others. I saw a little bit of a clip earlier from the person that has asked me a couple questions, and I am definitely going to give my opinion on these questions. I'm pretty sure these answers will lead to more questions because they already have. But just in an attempt not to make this video extra long, I'm going to keep the questions to the original 3 that was asked of me. So basically, there's a young lady on Twitter. I believe she lives in Florida. She is an unlicensed hairstylist that is apparently asking clients to have their hair shampooed and straightened if they have 4B, 4C hair prior to coming in. And she is also charging, I believe it's $450 for block braids. Okay, so the questions that was asked to me by a colleague, the first one was, should stylists make customers that have 4B, 4C hair straighten their hair before they come in for a braiding service? So what I will say to that is, a lot of times customers have to understand that a lot of your cost is based on time. So if your hair is more coarse, and I'll have another video on that because this 4B, 4C and all of this, that's new school stuff that is not necessarily embedded in theory, okay? It's just a way to break down the 3 types of hair, which is fine, medium, and coarse. So the question is, should you have to straighten your hair the coarser your hair is to come in for a braiding service? Now, in my professional opinion, I'm going to say no. You should not have to shampoo and blow dry your hair prior to coming in for that service, nor should you have to straighten it. But what you do need to keep in mind is if the stylist has to straighten it themselves, then there will probably be an additional charge, which leads us to the question, doesn't a shampoo and blow dry come with a service? Well, it depends on what service it is. Because if I'm already spending 4 hours or more on that service, it is in your best interest to cut down time by shampooing and straightening your hair. I don't require my clients to do it, but there is an upcharge if I have to do it. Basically, it's about time. You cut off a good amount of time if you come in and your hair is already cleaned and it's already blow dried and it's already straightened. If I have to do all that, you could possibly be adding, based on your texture of hair, your length of hair, you could be adding maybe an hour to 2 hours to your service. So that's another hour or 2 that I'm spending just on you that I'm losing on other clients, and there may be an additional charge for that. Should that be a requirement? Absolutely not. I think the problem with this situation is that the lady that is doing this is unlicensed and she's doing hair in her home. So then that leads us to, how much responsibility does a customer have when these type of demands are being put on them and they're paying in excess of $300 or $400? Because the second question that was asked to me is, how much are block braids? Okay? And at the end of the day, it just kind of depends. It depends on the thickness of your hair. It depends on how big those braids are. It depends on how long they are. So there's a lot to take into consideration when you are trying to price a service. And a lot of that comes from the time that it takes to complete the service to the satisfaction of yourself as well as your customer. Now, Supposedly this young lady is charging like $440, something like that for her service. Hey, to each his own. If you choose to pay that type of money to somebody that's doing your hair in their kitchen, then that is your choice. Only thing I can say is there's one of you born every day. Because when you go into a salon and pay that kind of money to a trained professional, you're not just getting a style. Okay? You are getting the proper care for your hair. You are getting professional advice that keeps your scalp in good condition, along with making sure that that style lasts the amount of time that it's supposed to last, that it looks good during that time. And I mean, the advice that you get and the training you receive from that cosmetologist when you are getting braids is going to be totally different if the cosmetologist is licensed versus if they are not. Some of you that may see this, if you've ever been a cosmetology student of mine, a couple years ago, we went to a forum. And if you guys remember, you can weigh in on this. A couple years ago, we went to a forum. I believe the forum, the intentions were pure. Okay, there was a lot of interracial couples there, and they were concerned with how to care for their children's hair. Maybe the wife was Caucasian, yet the child was biracial, and they didn't have a lot of experience in how to care for that texture of hair. The forum, like I say, the intentions were well. However, there was nothing malicious about it, but the information that was going forth from unlicensed individuals would have malicious effects. I can definitely tell you that. They were telling people to do all kind of things that they just should not do. They were telling people to put all kind of products on their hair that is not good for the hair nor the skin. One lady even had the nerve to tell people to go shop out old drugstores that may have certain products stored in the back that they hadn't put on the shelf, and then it would achieve this particular effect that she was suggesting people do. So once again, the problem was that these individuals were just individuals that had experimented at home, and they felt like they had enough knowledge and enough experience to put on a forum, have a good amount of people come because the room was full, and give them all kind of information that was going to be detrimental to the longevity and the condition of their hair, as far as their hair being healthy. So at the end of the day, all roads will probably lead back to professionalism. How professional are the individuals that you're letting on your hair? If you're willing to pay $450, like I say, to somebody doing your hair in their kitchen, then that's your choice. But to answer the questions that was posed to me, whether or not the hair should be shampooed, in my professional opinion, I don't think it should be a requirement. But there's a certain amount of responsibility that a stylist has to educate their customer. So therefore, when you're making an appointment, that customer needs to understand if you need to have to spend an extra hour or two on their hair to shampoo, blow dry, and straighten it to get it prepared for the braiding service, that is an upcharge. That's not included. Now, if the customer is comfortable doing those things on their own, then okay, that saves you a little time as the stylist and saves them a little money as the customer. But if you have to do all of it, then it's probably going to cost a little more. How much should block braids cost? Like I say, it depends. It depends on the thickness of the natural hair. It depends on how big the block braids are going to be. I will tell you that as a braider, I do have services that cost in that price range. Okay, the braids are usually a lot thinner, they're usually a lot longer, but because of the time it takes to, I can tell you right now that a 4-hour service should not be costing you $440. Okay, like I say, some of my information in reference to this situation is secondhand. I have not seen it personally, but you should not be paying $440 for a 4-hour service. Okay, if that's what's going on, because from the little clip that I was shown, the customer was commenting on a basic 4-hour block braid job. That should not cost you $440. Okay. Should stylists make customers with certain textures of hair do shampoo and blow drying and straightening prior to the service. As I said previously, I don't believe it should be a requirement, and as far as I'm concerned, I'm more than happy to do it. As a matter of fact, I prefer to do it because I know it's going to be done right and it's going to be done to my satisfaction. However, there is an upcharge. I believe in this particular situation, the young lady was requiring that they do these services before they come in, and basically said if it's not done to her specifications when you come in, then be prepared to reschedule. So like I say, all roads lead back to professionalism. 9 times out of 10, somebody doing hair in their kitchen that is unlicensed and has not had proper training is probably not going to be that professional. So in order for them to educate you on why there's an upcharge for these services, or for them to take the time to explain to you, you know, what everything entails, is just probably not going to happen. Now, let me clarify something before the comments come in. I do understand that there are a lot of stylists who are licensed that actually do hair in their home. Okay, so that is not what I'm talking about. What I'm saying is, if your stylist is doing your hair in their kitchen and they are unlicensed, then you will probably have to deal with some of the things that comes with an untrained individual. Number one, someone that is untrained does not know the science behind what makes your hair. They don't know the theory behind the behavior of the hair. They probably aren't well vexed in product knowledge, knowing what works best with what type of hair, when to use it, how to use it. So these are all things that you have to take into consideration. And unfortunately, because, and like I said, this was in Florida, so I don't even know if Florida regulates their cosmetologists. I don't know if you're required to have a license there. This lady is pretty much advertising on social media, so I'm assuming that maybe they're not regulated very heavily. You know, if she's comfortable enough to do that. But I will tell you that there is a lot that comes with the license that cosmetologists have to earn. They spend 1,500 hours, and there are things that comes with that you cannot get from an untrained individual. And it usually leads to those things that help maintain your hair over a lifetime. Things that keep your hair in good condition. The science behind some of these chemicals that are being put on, because cosmetologists are getting a bad rap right now in relation to chemicals and certain services and things that are going on with people's hair. But what people don't say is, even sometimes when they have a stylist that they see most of the time, that's not the stylist they see all of the time. Because they're at home experimenting with things, they're on YouTube, and instead of going to Thai TV or to another cosmetologist that is licensed to get their information, they're watching somebody that's been playing in the bathroom for 2 or 3 weeks and feels like they can show you the proper way for this installation or the proper way to do this service, and therefore those services get done inadequately, sometimes causing more damage than good. And then at the end of the day, the stylists are being, you know, it's being said that the stylists are at fault for some of these hair and scalp disorders that people are starting to deal with, when really that's not the case. The case is, you wanted to pay me for a shampoo and style while you went home and did your relaxers and your colors. Okay, so I believe that some of this question is in relation to natural hair. And since natural hair is more popular right now, and it's something that people are alluding back to, it does add time to services. So to answer these questions, no, I don't believe that a person with more coarse hair should be required to do certain services before they come in. They just need to be educated on the fact that if it has to be done in the salon, there may be an upcharge. How much should block braids cost? Like I say, it kind of depends. Most block braids are gonna start somewhere around $100 and $150. Okay, but that's somewhere around a 3 to 4 hour service. If you're paying a lot more than that for a service that can be done within 3 to 4 hours, then you are probably being overcharged. Should the hair be shampooed previously? I can tell you now, and most of you that know me know I do a lot of braids, and I prefer for the hair to be shampooed because it saves me as well as the client time. I'm more concerned with the client's time because my time is gonna be paid for. However, if you have other things to do throughout the day, go pick the kids up from school, or whatever you may have on your plate, that hour or two saves you time and it helps you with your own schedule. So it's really up to the client as far as I'm concerned. This young lady here, what I can say is you probably have a whole lot more to expect from her, considering that she's not properly trained and she has turned a side hustle into a business. And I don't blame her, because if you can find somebody to pay you more than what that service is worth, I mean, I don't know too many of us that wouldn't go ahead and benefit from it. Once again, guys, thank you for tuning in to Ty TV. Please go down, subscribe to the channel. That's Ty TV, TAITEA-V on YouTube. Go down, subscribe, like the video, comment, ask me any questions you want to ask me, and I will come back with another video doing the best I can to answer. Thank you. Bye.